In the vast, silent expanse of the universe, where galaxies swirl and stars whisper ancient secrets, lies a truth beyond human perception. The cosmos, with its infinite wonders and unseen energies, influences every event, manifesting destinies and shaping outcomes in ways we are only beginning to understand. It is within this silent symphony that ancient wisdom and cosmic patterns converge, guiding the course of human endeavors among the stars. By now, I was routinely promoting my successful forecasts for various strategic space missions, from SpaceX's Starship 2 to NASA's Astrobotic lunar lander. Those who could not accept my accuracy now accuse me of predicting only failures. They claimed I target test flights because they are most likely doomed. Many share that message with me. Here's an example where one ex-user at IIV Engines, he challenged me stating, "Why don't you predict for Falcon 9 launches? You only target test flights as they are most likely doomed for failure." Let's examine if that is true for the moment. Much before I made my first blockbuster space prediction for SpaceX Starship 2, as discussed in episode 1, I predicted success for ISRO's Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander mission. To those who believe my predictions focus solely on negative outcomes for space missions, this is a positive example. On July 13th, 2023, ISRO announced that the LVM-3M4/Chandrayaan-3 mission would launch at 14:25 17 hours Indian Standard Time on July 14, 2023. At 5:56 p.m. on July 13, I published my forecast. Congratulations, ISRO. The chosen launch time indicates success from an astrological perspective. Nevertheless, as you surely know, there is no time that is free from astrological blemishes. It would be a good idea to pay close and extra attention to air pressure and oxidizers in the rocket components. Best wishes. The chosen time was auspicious, and I had no hesitation in forecasting an auspicious outcome. Chandrayaan-3 launched on schedule and achieved a successful mission, including the landing of Vikram on the moon. It elevated ISRO and India to the world stage, bringing immense pride to the nation. This proves I am not just into predicting doom and gloom. However, I typically refrain from sharing success predictions because the common counter-argument is that such achievements are solely due to scientific efforts, and astrology is dismissed as pseudoscience. So astrology or the timing got no credit for this launch. It was science and the scientists. Duh! As you can see, it's impossible to show the merit of astrology with success predictions alone. Only when something fails does the human ego allow itself to blame something else. Anyway, now that we've cleared the air and proved I'm not the master of doom, let's move on to today's focus, a forecast for the legendary SpaceX Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket. Riding high from my successful prediction of the ULA Vulcan NASA Astrobotic Peregrine lunar lander mission, I needed my next challenge. The scientific community was still dismissing my work as bunk. I had to build statistical significance. I examined the FAA manifest and saw SpaceX's upcoming launch, the Axiom-3 mission on Falcon 9 Block 5. At 9:12 a.m. on January 16, 2024, SpaceX announced Falcon 9 and Dragon vertical at Pad 39A in Florida. Targeting Wednesday, January 17th for launch of Axiom-3, I analyzed both launch windows, January 17th at 5:11 p.m. Eastern Time and January 18th at 4:49 p.m. Eastern Time. And shortly after, at 10:29 p.m. that same day, I posted my forecast. Good evening, SpaceX and Axiom Space. The auspiciousness of the chosen launch time of 5:11 p.m. Eastern Time on January 17th is mostly okay, but it carries an unnecessary risk to the launch vehicle, which we could do without. The Dragon 2 spacecraft will perform nominally and successfully dock with the ISS on schedule. However, there is an unnecessary risk to the nominal flight of the usually reliable Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket. There is a potential for overheating during re-entry and suboptimal landing, where the launch vehicle might sustain damage by splashing into the ocean near landing zone 1. While there will be no impact to the overall success of the mission to the ISS, it would be an unnecessary blemish on the stellar record of the Falcon 9 rocket. In comparison, the backup launch time of 4:49 p.m. Eastern Time on January 18th is more auspicious and will promote success without the likelihood of the aforementioned drama. As such, I would strongly recommend moving the launch to the backup time. This is likely easier on the astronauts as well. Good luck. I'm copying a few folks here who might benefit from this reading. Elon Musk, Tory Bruno, Jeff Bezos, Gwynne Shotwell, ULA Launch, NASA, ISRO, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and the leadership of India. Thanks and have an auspicious launch. Good night. The very next morning at 8:55 a.m. on January 17th, I saw Spaceflight Now's post. Breaking. The Axiom-3 mission for Axiom Space is scrubbing for today, according to sources. No reason has been given as of yet, but the countdown clock at the press site froze at T-3 hours. In the linked article, it was mentioned that SpaceX called off launch of its third commercial crew flight to the International Space Station Wednesday to allow more time for pre-flight data reviews. The flight, chartered by Houston-based Axiom Space, was reset for Thursday pending final analysis. Some detractors have tried to claim that the issue causing the delay was related to the Dragon 2 spacecraft, based on a press conference from the previous night. And apparently, according to them, I was wrong because I did not forecast any anomalies for the Dragon 2 spacecraft. Well, I didn't because there weren't any. Before we dive deeper into the recent launch delays, it's important to clarify the distinction between SpaceX's two main spacecraft, Cargo Dragon and Crew Dragon. Cargo Dragon, also known as Dragon 1 or Cargo Dragon 2 in some contexts, is primarily used to deliver supplies and equipment to the International Space Station and is uncrewed during these missions. Crew Dragon, Dragon 2, on the other hand, is designed to carry astronauts and is equipped with life support systems, crew seats, and other human-rated features. In this case, the spacecraft involved in the launch is a Crew Dragon, built for crewed missions to the ISS. During a Tuesday night teleconference, SpaceX's Benji Reed discussed two recent issues under review: concerns about the parachute energy modulator, straps on Crew Dragon, and the torquing of connectors attaching Crew Dragon to Falcon 9. An inspection of an uncrewed Cargo Dragon revealed that some parachute straps, designed to unstitch during deployment to reduce shock, had not performed as expected. Some came unstitched under slightly higher load. Engineers identified twisting during installation as a possible cause and inspected the Crew Dragon's parachutes to prevent similar issues. Additionally, some connectors had been torqued beyond the specified levels. Out of caution, they were replaced. The important point is that these issues were discovered on the Cargo Dragon, which is a different vehicle from the Crew Dragon involved in this launch. The Dragon 2 spacecraft in this mission is a Crew Dragon. Out of an abundance of caution, the Crew Dragon was inspected for similar issues, and some components were replaced. All of these concerns had been addressed by Tuesday night, meaning there were no pending anomalies with the Crew Dragon. It had a clean bill of health, just as I predicted, and was ready for launch the next day. The countdown hold and the scrub on the morning of Wednesday, January 17th, are unrelated to the Dragon 2 spacecraft. SpaceX confirmed this shortly after in a post. Now targeting Thursday, January 18th, for the launch of the Axiom-3 mission to the International Space Station. The additional time allows teams to complete pre-launch checkouts and data analysis. If the issue had involved the Dragon 2 spacecraft, it would have been mentioned in that update. Now consider this. If the delay had been caused by an anomaly with the Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket, do you think SpaceX would have openly admitted it and risked damaging the reputation of the Falcon 9? Not likely. Historically, they tend to keep such data under wraps. Compare this with Astrobotic's frequent transparent updates, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I quoted the official post from SpaceX and acknowledged their wise decision to delay. Good call, SpaceX, Axiom Space, Elon Musk, and Gwynne Shotwell. I knew they had avoided a blemish on the Falcon 9's stellar record. This was also easier on the Axiom-3 astronauts, since this allowed them to spend lesser time in the Dragon 2 spacecraft before docking with the International Space Station. It was a win on all fronts. My forecast had warned that proceeding as scheduled with the primary launch window would lead to difficulties. The delay proved to be correct, and the backup, more auspicious window successfully launched the Dragon spacecraft into orbit, where it docked flawlessly with the ISS. My forecast also predicted a possibility for a suboptimal landing of the booster, and sure enough, the booster experienced a barely noticeable anomaly. One landing leg delayed due to slow hydraulic pressure buildup. It deployed late, but the booster still landed safely, escaping a scare. Another validation of my insight. With back-to-back successes, my confidence swelled. Critics, however, devised new excuses. The latest? That I craft vague predictions, easy to twist into successes. Despite their outright rejection, I sensed something deeper, an undercurrent of fear rather than doubt. So I decided to have a little fun. I posted a poll asking, would you like a more detailed forecast for Starship 3? The results were hilariously predictable. Overwhelmingly, they voted no, not because they doubted me, but because they were too afraid of what I might reveal. In that moment, I realized what they really feared. Not my predictions, but the truth itself. They projected their own fear onto the polls. But I knew better. I saw through the illusion. So, despite their rejection, I pressed ahead, publishing my forecast for Starship 3. And trust me, the fireworks from that prediction are coming in episode 5.